Welcome back to the deep dive. So we're jumping right in today because of a question from a listener who came across an article about something called prenatal education.
Or Taijia, right?
Exactly. And this article was making some really big promises. It said these exercises could have a profound impact on the baby's future temperament, talent, and so on.
Which is, I mean, that's a massive claim. And it's one that immediately makes you ask, okay, where is the evidence?
Right. So that's our mission for this deep dive, to see if the science actually backs up these popular ideas about, creating a fetal genius.
And we have to be really specific here. We're looking at the scientific literature, and it's pretty confined to one area, fetal learning, and really just their response to sound.
So on one hand, we have these bold claims about talent and temperament, but they're not citing any studies.
None at all. And
Yeah.
that's the fundamental disconnect right from the start. All the verifiable empirical research is only about fetal hearing, things like talent or temperament. We don't even have a framework to measure that in a fetus.
So the idea that, playing a certain song in week 25 is going to make your kid a better musician is...
Utterly without scientific basis, period.
Okay, so let's throw out the speculation. What does the hard science actually tell us? How early can a fetus even hear anything?
Well, think of it like listening to a radio through a very, very thick wall. The first real sign of a response, like a physical movement, doesn't happen until around 19 weeks.
Wow, that's later than I would have thought.
It is. And even then, it's only a response to a pretty specific low, clear tone, about 500 hertz.
Like the bass notes in a song, the rumble.
Exactly. The low-frequency stuff gets through first, and then the range sort of, it expands from there. It actually goes down to even lower frequencies first, and only much later, we're talking 33, maybe 35 weeks, do they start to respond to higher frequencies.
Okay, so the acoustic world is slowly coming into focus for them.
Very slowly. It's muffled for a long, long time.
But this is where it gets so fascinating because it's not just passive hearing, right? There's actual learning going on.
Yes. This is the critical part. We know the mother's voice is audible around 24 weeks. But a study back in 1986 showed that this exposure, it actually creates a memory.
A memory? How could they tell?
They had pregnant people read a specific passage out loud every day. After the baby was born, the newborn showed a clear preference for that exact passage.
Wow.
It's definitive proof of in utero learning. They're picking up on the rhythm, the pitch, the music of the language.
And it gets even more specific than that, doesn't it? I remember seeing a 1993 study that suggested they can even tell different voices apart.
Near-term fetuses can, it seems, perceive differences in things like fundamental frequency. They could potentially distinguish between, say, a male and a female voice saying the same sentence. They're absorbing details.
So, okay, learning is happening. A fetus is creating memories based on sound.
It is. But that brings us to the most important question for you, the listener, who's wondering whether to buy that prenatal education kit. Just because learning happens, does that mean more stimulation is better?
And this is where we really have to apply that critical thinking. Because a big review study from 2000 looked at all of this, and the conclusion was pretty blunt.
Unequivocal, really. There is just no conclusive evidence that adding extra auditory stimulation provides any measurable benefit to the child. None.
So, zero proven upside.
Zero proven upside. And this is the part that nobody talks about in those glossy articles. There's a potential downside.
A risk.
A potential risk, yes. The same sources that find no benefit actually raise a concern about causing overload to the fetal heart and brain with too much external stimulation.
That completely flips the script. We've gone from a media claim about boosting genius to the scientific reality of, natural auditory preference.
Exactly. Learning is happening naturally. Adding more stuff on top doesn't seem to help, and it might even be a bad idea.
So the takeaway isn't just that these fetal genius products don't work.
It's more profound than that. The real takeaway is a question you should ask yourself. If the established science shows absolutely no benefit from adding extra stimulus, but it does identify a potential risk of overload, shouldn't the default advice be to do less, not more? The burden of proof is on the person selling the miracle, not on you.